What's up, guys? Welcome to day 2 of your 5 days of unshakable motivation. Today we're talking all about motivation, how to stay highly motivated. Now that you have the self-discipline, we've flexed that muscle a little bit, you're building it, and I'm proud of you for watching the entirety of day 2 and following through and watching day 1, and following through and watching day 2. You're making strides, you're building that muscle, and repetition is the mother of skill. So you want to make sure that you keep doing that and keep applying that self-discipline today. And the beginning is always the hardest. So I do want to say that too. Like it's always, you got to put a lot more intention on things. But as you learn, and as some of the stuff that I'm going to share with you today and throughout the next few days, you're going to be able to build habits and rituals. It won't be as hard. So it's not going to be this hard for the rest of your life. So, take a deep breath. It's going to be good. But yeah, motivation. We already know why it's important. And, sometimes you have crazy amounts of motivation and then you lose it. Like in my life, if you don't know much of my story, I encourage you to go check out my story, kevincrenshawfitness.com. Click on the About section and it goes to my story. But, I wanted to change for so long. I had this desire, and then I would get motivated and then I would fail and then beat myself up, and I'd feel more like a failure. So I would almost be hesitant to get motivated again, and it really killed my motivation hard. And maybe you're in the same spot or you've been in a similar place before. And so how do you go from that to living a life where you're constantly motivated, not just in your fitness goals, but in every area of your life? Like you want to go to the gym every day. You want to eat healthy every day. You want to contribute more. You want to give more. You want to be there for your spouse. You want to build that business. How do you stay motivated to do those things when sometimes you just want to sit back and freaking crack a cold beer and just watch a football game or something? And that you can. And that's the thing. I think some people think that like all I do is like work and work out and I'm always doing things. Dude, I chill out, but it's in moderation. Like I get to do exactly what I want to do because I'm pouring into, again, the future and the long term, and I've got that leverage. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys. We're going to jump right into it. I got my notes. Let me grab them. And again, you guys don't have to watch me unless you want to see my beautiful face. You can minimize this and go do something else. But again, still discipline yourself to watch this for the duration of however long this video is going to be. You still got to keep flexing that discipline muscle. So consistent motivation. What I've found is that discipline is stronger than motivation, because motivation, as you guys know, motivation will get you started. So maybe you are highly motivated right now, and that's perfect. Hold on to that and apply all the stuff that we're going to be sharing. Or maybe you just need to get motivated again. Hopefully yesterday when we went through your goals and what would happen if you didn't change, that probably gave you some leverage and some motivation because you got your emotions involved. And with pain, a lot of people try to avoid it. They go drinking, or they go out with the friends, or you scroll on Facebook or YouTube, or you play Xbox. I used to do all that stuff. I still do that stuff, and I'm guilty of it from time to time. When you lean into pain, it almost forces you to change. You've got to see pain in the past, the present, and the future, and then you're like, fuck it, I'm changing. That's how the shift happens. But if you keep pushing away the pain, because culturally we just don't want to deal with the painful stuff, if you keep pushing it away, you're never going to really change. And while it may be better in the moment to enjoy some of that stuff and have more fun, you're still going to be suffering in the long term. So staying motivated, getting motivated starts you, right? And then habits what keeps you going. You probably heard that quote before. I'm going to say it again. I think I messed it up. Motivation is what gets you started, but habit is what keeps you going. And that's true, but I believe how you build a habit is through 3 things. You got to have leverage, which we discovered in the first video. Your rituals, which is, again, intentional habits, and your identity change. All 3 of those things, the leverage, rituals, and your identity change, are going to be what's building those habits. So do whatever it takes to get motivated. If you're not, like, reach out, I'll kick you in the butt, something, and we'll get you motivated. But you want us to create, you've got to put intention to build it. So think of it this way. You're right here and motivation slaps you in the face. Boom. And you're like, holy crap, okay, I got it. Now, when you keep going, you can't rely on that outside slap in the face. you almost have to slap yourself in the face. Is that a good metaphor? I don't even know if I'm making sense. You can't rely on an outside source for motivation. It's all internal. It's in your head. So while you can, pull up YouTube videos for motivation, maybe that'll get you off your butt for a few minutes. The muscles of discipline, the muscles of motivating yourself, and using that leverage and changing your identity is how you stay motivated. It looks like they're constantly motivated, but I mean, sometimes I don't want to go to the gym. I'm not always motivated, and that can't be the goal. So it's not an 100% all the time motivation. It's an unshakable discipline and desire for what you want. It's an unshakable, yes, motivation, but what's the word? Determination. You're completely determined to reach that goal no matter what, again, because you've associated pain in the long term of not doing it. And you want to keep attaching to that, because we'll do a lot more to avoid pain than we will to move towards pleasure. So I want to give you guys some tricks on building motivation and how I've been able to do it, whether that's, disciplining yourself to take action in the moment or whatever. So put your why that we made yesterday. I want you to go ahead and put that in front of you every single day. Now, there's different ways to do that. Like if your why is, let's say your kids, okay, put a picture of your kids on the background on your phone and on the lock screen. Every time you go to unlock your phone, because we look at our phones a bajillion times a day, you're going to see it and it's going to remind you. If it's another person, like a person, do it. If you're doing it to attract somebody, do it. Like, figure out some creative way on how you can put your why into an image, and then put it on the lock screen on your phone. The mirror in your bathroom, get some Sharpies or dry erase markers. Don't use Sharpies, and write down, why you're doing this, because X, Y, Z. And you'll see that every single morning when you get up. So you want to put it in convenient places where it forces you to see it. Maybe in the kitchen. That'd be a good place, since you probably need discipline around nutrition. Everybody does, right? Nutrition's more than half the battle. So one of the other things that you can do is meditate or envision. If you're now, I used to not be in the meditating. I used to be like, I want to do things. I'm not going to sit there and think about nothing. Like, that's not cool. But I've learned to love it, and that meditation isn't sitting and thinking about nothing sometimes. Sometimes it's being intentional and creating things in your head. So if you want to try it out, or you already do meditate, future pace a year from now where you're going to be. So what it's going to feel like, what it's going to look like, all that stuff, once you change. Not have, like saying you're making the change now, what's it going to look like to have more confidence? What's it going to look like to have more, what have you created since you've been more motivated? What have you done with your body since you have started to apply all this stuff? And you look at it from a year from now, and that's going to give you a push and a pull, because you get the push to get away from the painful thing that happens in the future if you don't change, and you got to pull, something's drawing you towards the future on what would happen if you do. So now you're almost doubling up your speed, and your progress can be a lot smoother, a lot easier. So that's one thing you can do. And then another thing, and this kind of ties in, I'm going to talk a little bit today, but we're going to talk a lot about this tomorrow, tomorrow. And we're talking about getting out of your head. Because Tony Robbins says this, if you stay in your head, you're dead. You've got to do actions that are right, you want to do and you should do. How do you actually take action on them in the moment? Because I believe very strongly you have about 3 seconds before a thought comes into your head and you go, yeah, I should do that. If you don't do it in 3 seconds, you're going to talk yourself out of it in your head. There's going to be a fear that stops you, a fear of rejection, and there's going to be a fear of failure, a worry about what if. The negative thing, there's going to be so much junk going on in your head that you're not going to do it, and that's not living life on how we know that we want to, right? You're sabotaging yourself because you're thinking with your head and not your heart. So, you can trust your gut. And the whole thing with trusting your gut in relationships or with business stuff, like, that's essentially your heart. You need to guide, your heart's guiding you. Listen to it. You have 3 seconds every single time something pops in your head to do it. So that's what I want your homework assignment today. Post in the group. what motivated you to get started? And then what have you learned about motivation now that maybe you didn't know before, or what is motivating you right now to keep going on this journey? And is it motivation or is it self-discipline? Because there's two ends of the spectrum, but they're really tied in close together. And then do something today, just because you're aware of the 3-second rule, that when it pops in your head, I want you to just act. Okay, so here's an example. So when I know that I need to go to the gym and I'm sitting there playing Xbox and I really don't want to go to the gym, and I'd much rather, it's a rainy day, there's all these excuses going through my head, but I set it in my calendar to go now. Discipline is a little bit of it, but I need to go to the gym. I just get up. I don't even think. I just get up and like turn the Xbox off and start packing my shit and changing clothes. Like, get your body into it, and then your brain goes, "Oh fuck, what are we doing? I guess we're doing this, right?" And then it'll happen, and that's how the motivation kind of will be like, okay, well, I put skin in the game now, so I've got to be able to do it, right? I want to hit this from a business standpoint, even. So let's say, I'll show you an example. I went to Australia recently, at the time of me filming this, and I decided to go in a month. So I was like, I booked the trip and it was a month away. And I was not making the right income to be able to afford that. But I just jumped in. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I know I need to do it. And again, 3-second rule. Cool, let's put the down payment on. I'm going to figure it out. And then I was like, oh, fuck. I guess I got to level up. I got to make this happen, right? So by putting skin in the game and putting money on the line, I was like, okay, I'm serious about this. Like I forced myself to level up. I forced myself to have more motivation, more discipline, and more all of the stuff that I needed to reach my goals. So the same is true with my fitness. When I ended up going to Australia, I had the best time of my life, by the way. When I got started on my fitness journey, I was looking for like all these tips. I would do, push-ups and stuff. When I invested money in a workout program, I actually got started with P90X in home. Yeah, that's right. Freaking forever ago. I spent like $500 on that and a bunch of other stuff and supplements and everything. And I was like, okay, I'm making this happen because I just put skin in the game. A lot of times money is the skin in the game, or time can be skin in the game, but that is going to force you to be more motivated. If there's not attached to it in some way, if you're not like, oh shit, I got to make this happen now because I just spent the money or I just spent the time or whatever, there's an easy out. You know what I mean? Another way you can put skin in the game is by proclaiming it to everybody and their mom. I did that when I did a physique show, my second show. It was a month out from the show. And everybody was like asking me, are you going to do the show again? Are you going to do the show again? I'm sorry, it was my third show because the second time I completely crushed it and was in the best shape of my life, like 3% body fat. It was insane. And so all my friends were like, dude, are you going to do the show again? And I was giving bullshit excuses. And then I was like, you know what? I really need to do this for me. And I knew in my heart I wanted to do it. So I knew 3-second rule. And this was before Facebook Live. But I made a video and I'm just like, all right, guys, I'm doing this. I'm going to the show. The show's 4 weeks away. I have not been prepping, but watch me. I'm going to make this happen. And it got tons of views. And I busted my ass and made it happen because I had all these eyes on me that were like, okay, he's going to do it. Is he going to do it? Like, I don't know if he's going to do it. And I put pressure on myself, and a good kind of pressure to make it happen and to follow through by proclaiming it to the world that it was going to happen. And did it happen? Yes. I ended up at 7% body fat. I dropped 15 pounds in 3 weeks. I got show ready and nailed it. If I would have, and the thing is, I actually started prepping for that show 2 other times and backed out because I didn't tell anybody I was doing it. So there's a lot of power in just sharing like, hey, I'm doing this, spending time on things or spending money on things to build that leverage to motivate yourself to do it. So that's what I got to share with you guys today. That's basically the video. So again, post up in the group. What have you learned about motivation? What motivated you to get started? And how are you going to put skin in the game? What are you gonna do to put skin in the game? And then again, you know what you need to do, and it's completely scary because you're like, I have no idea how I'm gonna be able to do this. If you don't want to jump today on something, wait till tomorrow, and I'm gonna be sharing with you on how to build. I think it's confidence. Yes, how to build a life of confidence, and how to have the confidence to take that leap of faith when there's so much uncertainty around you and there's so much unknown. But again, we're going for abundance. Remember what you're doing this for, and remember you're going for a life of fulfillment. So you can kick ass in the gym and kick ass at life. Like how that is why you're here. So that's why I'm stretching you guys. That's why I'm pushing you guys. And thank you for letting me do that in this video. So that's what I got. I'm looking forward to hearing from you in the group and what you got to say about what motivated you to get started and what you're going to do. In the meantime, I'm going to ask you to flex your discipline muscle a little bit and watch tomorrow's video again. Discipline yourself to make the time, schedule it, do whatever it takes to show up because you already started, you come this far, so keep the discipline rolling. So remember, discipline only matters when you really don't want to do it and you really don't, maybe there's other stuff going on and it's not a priority. You still got to discipline yourself. And that's what's going to build the prize compounded over time. So that's what I say about motivation. That was day 2. I will see you guys on day 3, and I'll holler at you later. Peace.